Hi, everybody, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is February 5th, and we're on page 21 in your magazines, and this is my favorite lesson of the month.
好，这也是我们最喜欢的一个单元之一哈。
Namely,
就是翻译
translation. Here's part A, number 1.
好，那我们看到 A 题组的第一题，他说近年来公司行号利用线上问卷调查来取得意见和回馈，已经变成一种趋势。那近年来我们当然可以直接说 in recent years， 就是近年来，好，那打一个逗点，然后呢接下来某一个东西某一件事情已经成为一种趋势啊。那当然这个趋势我们可以说是个 trend。 好，然后呢接下来我们就要想，那我们可以用什么样的结构啊？那英文里面我们可以说啊，这个it is a trend 啊 for someone to do something 啊，或者是我们来考虑一下这个时态哈。他说已经变成一种趋势，那你可以说 it has become a trend。 好，那另外一种可能就是我在网络上看到有一种用法，就是 it's becoming a trend 啊，用进行式。
But that's different.
What's the difference?
Okay, it's become a trend. That means everybody can observe it. It is quite mature. It's becoming, it sounds like it may be just starting.
所以呢如果说 it's become 就是大家都看得出来啊，已经很成熟了啊，但是 it's becoming 就是也许有些人还看不太出来啊，就这个东西还在形成当中啊，所以这个地方原来他是说已经变成一种，原文是已经变成一种趋势，所以这里其实用 it's become 是比较好的。
Right.
对啊。好，那 a trend， 那 for someone to do something， 那这里呢就是这个趋势是公司行号利用线上问卷调查啊，所以公司行号是主词，所以it's become a trend for businesses 啊，就是公司行号就一个字就可以解决了。好，中文是2个字公司行号，但其实公司就是行号啊，那英文 businesses， 然后让 business 干嘛呢？ to use 来使用线上问卷调查，就是 online surveys。来干嘛呢？来取得，来得到意见跟回馈啊。那这个取得英文我们要用哪一个字呢？啊，那事实上各位可以想想，他要取得意见和回馈，其实他就在收集意见跟回馈嘛，在网络上面啊。所以翻译的时候呢，有的时候你不会翻的时候，你可以用中文想想看有没有同义字。那就算你会翻，你也可以想一想，这个中文其实在英文里面你可以用哪一个字？然后先把中文的同义字想一想，像这取得其实就是收集，那你就可以想到收集这个英文字了。
That's right. And you can use acquire, and we're going to see that in the magazine's translation. But for me, acquire sounds like 获取. It means like you're trying to grab something, maybe because you're greedy or it's for your benefit or something. If you say collect, it sounds like it's more neutral.
Yeah.
It sounds like less like grabbing for yourself.
好，那这个地方呢，我们用 collect 是很中性的，因为 collect 就是收集。那我们等一下会看到，我们也可以用 acquire， 这个也没有错，但是 acquire 感觉是比较主动，比较有目的，想要去得到这个东西。
This is mine.
获取啊，拿到、抓到哈 ，grab 啊 ，grab 啊，所以这里呢，我们就用 collect。那收集怎么样？这个意见和回馈，好，那意见和回馈我们要怎么翻呢？当然，意见我们绝对可以用 opinion 来翻哈，但是我同样你再想一想，这个地方意见和回馈，这个意见事实上是一种特定的意见，其实我觉得是所谓的 comments 啊，就是你用了我们的产品，或者你看到我们的广告，你知道我们的产品，你有什么想法啊？所以我用的是 comment。那然后呢，回馈当然就是 feedback， 但是这 comments， 你如果说这 collect comments and feedback， 我觉得有一点好像在空中啊，这到底是什么东西 comments and feedback？ 那因为什么 comment 什么 feedback， 所以呢，我前面我自己加了一个是 consumer 所以 collect consumer comments and feedback。那这个时候就牵涉到翻译理论的问题，就是原文里面并没有告诉你说是消费者的意见跟回馈但是我们在翻译的时候呢，译者可以根据自己的诠释事实上这句中文我也可以读成这个意见和回馈，我觉得中文可以是 implied， 就是它 implied 这个是消费者的意见跟回馈，所以我在翻译的时候我可以把这个字加进去。
Right, you're clarifying.
我把它讲清楚一点所以我这句话的翻译我整个再念一次In recent years, it's become a trend for businesses to use online surveys to collect consumer comments and feedback.Okay,
very good. Here's my translation. Recently, it's become a trend for businesses to use online surveys to collect opinions and feedback. But actually, listening to my own translation after Wesley's, I think I prefer Wesley's because consumer comments and feedback really does make it clearer. I will leave it, but I think Wesley's addition was a good one.
好呀，所以这个地方就各位注意，就是你可以不加 consumer， 你可以直接说 collect opinions and feedback， 这个绝对没有错啊。那所以这也是跟翻译有关，就我认为要加上 consumer 会比较清楚，但是可是不加也没有错，因为不加英文的读者同样可以从这句子里面可以推论出来，这应该指的是 consumer 的。
But when I read it just now, it sounded like they were just opening their arms to the universe. Anybody out there? And consumer makes it much more specific.
那这 Karen 老师他讲得很有趣，他说他读了我的翻译之后，他自己的翻译，他觉得说好像你如果只说 collect opinions and feedback， 好像是他们张开的手在等说宇宙之间还有什么 comments 来啊，还有什么 feedback， 就是范围很广啊。
Right.
加一 consumer 你就觉得比较定啊，比较清楚一点啊。他们要的是 consumer opinions and feedback.
It makes it coherent because it relates to businesses.
这个是很好的一个理由啊，因为它跟 businesses 有关，所以会比较让这个句子比较 coherent.
How would you translate coherent there?
It's very difficult.
I know, because I had to translate it yesterday. That's why I asked you. Let me know if you think of something.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the translation in our magazine. It says, in recent years, it has become a trend for businesses to acquire opinions and feedback through online surveys or using online surveys.
好，那我们杂志上的翻译呢，it has become， 他把它这个写成两个字那 a trend 那一样。For businesses to 用的动词是 acquire opinions and feedback， 这也可以然后后面是 through 或者 using 都可以透过这个线上问卷调查。
And my brain made another association when I saw acquire right next to businesses. It made me think of business acquisitions. 就是并吞另外一个公司。That's not what they're talking about here, but that's what my brain gave me when I was reading it.
所以呢，这个当 Karen 老师在读这个句子的时候呢，他 businesses 跟 acquire 距离非常近，所以会让他联想到一个 business acquisitions 那这个是产生这样的联想，当然我们知道不是这个意思，可是你脑袋想到有这种联想，就会有一点被 distract 掉了。
Right, business acquisitions 就是并吞另外一个公司或者并购另外一个公司。Number 2.
好，我们看第二题，他说事实上比起纸本问卷，线上调查的成本较低，也不需要那么多时间来完成那这个事实上 in fact 就可以了事实上 in fact 比起纸本问卷那英文里面比起什么什么，我们就讲 compared to 什么什么所以 in fact 但这个是个分词构句 compared to 纸本问卷paper questionnaires 就是纸本的问卷然后呢这个线上调查 online surveys 怎么样，它这个成本较低，也不用那么多时间来完成成本较低，当然可以说the cost is 怎么样 lower 或怎么样，但是其实我后来想到因为后面不需要那么多时间，我们可以说 don't take as much time。那既然有一个 don't 这种结构的话，其实前面成本较低，我也可以说 don't cost as much 那这样子的话就会有一个平行的结构所以我就可以说 online surveys don't cost as much and don't take as much time 然后后面再加一个 to complete， 因为中文是不需要那么多时间来完成，所以 they don't take as much time to complete.
Can we hear the whole thing?
Sure. 好，那我整句翻译就是 In fact, compared to paper questionnaires, online surveys don't cost as much and don't take as much time to complete.I
like it because it's simple and easy to understand. Because in my reading lately, I've noticed that when I'm tired, I want to pick a book that's easy to understand. Because if it's got a lot of words that I have to look up and a lot of academic writing, complicated new ideas, my brain will say, not now, I'm a little tired. But if I read a book that's written like this, I can listen for a long time on that level of brain energy.So that means most people are probably somewhere around that level of brain energy, and the best way to reach them with your message is to write it so it doesn't make their brain work too hard.
好，这个是个知识爆炸的时代所以真的我们写东西的时候，你如果能写得简单易懂那让读的人不用用那么多的这个cognition load 去想办法了解你在讲什么那这个其实也是在做好事所以看场合大部分的时候，其实我们都是尽量写得简单易懂比较重要那当然，如果你今天在写学术论文或者是那种很专业的书籍的话你可能就不能写得太简单。
And how many people will read that?
但是那种书读的人也不多，而且刚刚各位有没有注意到，在读那种很专业的那种高深的书籍的时候，像 Karen 老师这个 英文这么好的 native speakers， 他还是会看到生字的，好，所以呢，他还是要查生字。那所以我常常跟大家讲说，你不要担心哈，你不要觉得说，哎呀，英文单字背不完啊，没有一个人可以说他认识所有的字啊，所以你如果看到生字不会没关系，你就查字典就好了。
That's right. And that has a different purpose. You're trying to impress somebody, you're trying to get a degree, and you know that not many people will read it. Even the people who read it will get tired.
Yeah, 所以这你必须要，你想要 impress 某人，例如说你这个学术论文啊，或学位论文啊，你希望能够 publish， 那这个时候你希望对方看了会觉得印象深刻。但即使是这样的一个读者，他还是读起来会很累，因为读那种很 dense 的那种很密的、很浓密的那种这学术文章，这读起来会很累的。
So if you write it simply and in a straightforward way, you will reach the most people because people won't look at it and say,
Yeah, 好，所以真的你写的简单易懂，大家都看得懂，那读的人就会很多，而且大家都比较喜欢读。
Right. Here's my translation. In fact, online surveys cost less than paper questionnaires and require less time to complete. It's very similar to Wesley's with a little change.
Yeah, 那各位可以注意到，其实 Karen 老师这个地方，它也是一种平行结构啊。它的平行结构是用动词哈 ，cost 如何 and requires 什么什么哈，所以一样都是动词加受词这种平行结构。好，那这样子读起来就会很顺哈。所以事实上，它这里用 cost， 它的这个成本这个是动词 ，less 比较少，比这个纸本的这个 questionnaires。它成本较低，然后呢 require 它所需要的是什么 less time 比较少的时间一样 to complete， 所以它也是一种平行结构。
Okay, and here's the translation in our magazine, which is also quite similar. In fact, compared to paper questionnaires, the cost of online surveys is lower and they do not require as much time to complete. While it is okay, I prefer to avoid the compared to because it makes it too long. It's much easier to say it's cheap. A is cheaper than B. It's just much more straightforward rather than saying, well, compared to B, A is cheaper. It takes more time to process and it's a little clunkier.
好，所以呢，这个地方 compared to paper questionnaires， 这个当然是从中文翻过来的哈。
Yeah.
那在英文里面呢，其实在表达的时候，各位就顺便学一下，就是事实上这一句话在英文的写的时候，其实你不用写 compared to paper questionnaires， 因为你已经在那里比了嘛，你已经说这个比较成本比较低啦，然后不需要那么多时间，所以你已经在比了，所以你直接说比起这个不用再把这个 compared to paper questionnaires 把它拉到前面来，好像感觉起来很伟大那种感觉。
You can do the same thing in Chinese. 那个跟 B 比起来 A 比较便宜 Or you can just say A 比 B 还便宜
Yeah.
You can do the same thing in Chinese. And the second sentence is much easier to process.
Yeah, 好，所以这个地方各位就记得，这个 Karen 老师那个句子其实非常简单明了的。那你如果今天不是做翻译，你是写作的话，那一句英文是比较好的英文，比较 straightforward 哈，不用让人家再想来想去。而且啊，这个比起纸本问卷，中文这种结构感觉还好，但是英文我越读越觉得好像有一点做作那种感觉。
Right. The word I used for it was clunky.Clunky is spelled C-L-U-N-K-Y. C-L-U-N-K-Y. Clunky means it's sort of 大而无当。那武当有点太重了，可是有一点太大了。这个那么简单的意思。You use something that took so many words to say. It's wordy, it's clunky, it's not that smooth.
Yeah, 好，所以不需要把这个 compared to paper questionnaires 把它搬到前面来，好像这个大帽子放在那边一样。
That's right.
因为其实你就直接说这个它比较便宜，比较不需要那么多时间就可以了。那另外呢，这个我们杂志上这个翻译，它的结构对称就没有那么清楚哈，因为它 the cost of online survey is lower。那后面如果你要在另外一个介系词片语当主词的话，那就太啰嗦了哈，所以它变成 they， 那感觉起来这个就不是那么平行。但是这个句子没有问题。
It's fine, yeah, and it'll get you through a test.
Yeah, 考试的话你这样翻也是满分的 ，Yeah.
Okay, that's it for part 1. Let's go on to part 2.
好 ，B 题组
Part B,
yeah. 好，他说这个菠萝蜜他给你英文 jackfruit 是一种营养价值很高的热带水果，常被当作肉类替代品。那这个菠萝蜜我就直接 jackfruit， 那是一种营养价值很高的热带水果。这个营养价值很高的这个我们大概找不到一个字或两个字来表达啊，那我们就先讲热带水果，然后在后面加上一个片语或者子句来修饰这个水果啊，来表达它营养价值很高。所以呢，我可以说 Jackfruit is a tropical fruit. 它是一种热带水果。那 that is 它怎么样啊？在交代营养价值很高。那营养价值很高，我们可以直接说 that is high in nutritional value， 就是它的价值，营养价值很高。所以这个前半句 Jackfruit is a tropical fruit that is high in nutritional value.
Actually, we could say it a little simpler, is highly nutritious. I think that with the Chinese that we have, it's better to do it the way you've done it.But we could simplify it. It's highly nutritious.
这个地方又来了哈，就是如果说是翻译的话呢，其实我这样翻比较切合那个中文，所以就翻译来讲，我这样翻可能是也不错。但是如果是英文写作的话，事实上你可以直接说它是一个 highly nutritious tropical fruit 就可以了。
Right.
好，那
The question is, how much do we want to emphasize the nutritional value? If we really want to emphasize it, we should do it this way. It's high in nutritional value. We've built it up more.If we want to put it in the background, we could say jackfruit is a highly nutritious tropical fruit. That's another way to do it, but that backgrounds the information about its nutrition.
好，那后面的颁布他说这个常被当作肉类替代品我可以说那我已经讲这个 a tropical fruit that is 怎么样，那后面我可以说 and which is 用这个 which 来把这个句子 coherence 弄得更好一点就which 就指这个 jackfruit is often used 被用来当作肉类的替代品。这替代品当然你可能会想到 replacement， 但事实上这里其实可以用另外一个是 alternative， 因为 alternative to 就是表示我不用 A 我用 B 所以这个地方我可以说 which is often used as an alternative to meat。好，那我的整句的翻译我再念一次。 Jackfruit is a tropical fruit that is high in nutritional value and which is often used as an alternative to meat.
Good. Okay, but I used a slightly different strategy. Instead of saying that and later which, I used something else. Jackfruit is a tropical fruit with high nutritional value that is often eaten in place of meat.
所以Karen 老师他是说它是个 tropical fruit， 那 with 之间用一个这个介系词片语来表达它具有很高的营养价值，所以它是一种 fruit with high nutritional value， 然后呢后面再用 that is 就可以了that is 就指这样的一个 fruit， 一样是修饰那个 fruit， 它是 often eaten 被吃，那是 in place of meat 就是取代的意思，所以 in place of 也是取代的意思。
And this one is a little simpler and more straightforward. It's often eaten in place of meat. So for whatever reason, a family maybe decides that they don't want to eat meat, they don't have meat, whatever the reason is, we'll have jackfruit instead. It just makes it very straightforward. Okay, here's the translation in our magazine. Jackfruit is a tropical fruit with a high nutritional value, and it is often used as a meat substitute or substitute for meat. Now here they use a high nutritional value. It makes it sound like it's quite established. We could also omit the and say jackfruit is a tropical fruit with high nutritional value, and it is often used as a meat substitute.
好，那这个地方呢，各位看到它有加了一个with a high nutritional value 的感觉起来就是它已经弄得很清楚了非常的 established， 就是它有这个价值了已经很清楚。那这个你也可以不写，你可以直接说 with high nutritional value， 然后呢被用来肉类替代品，它用的是 meat substitute 或者 substitute for meat 都可以。
Okay, number 2。
好，那我们看第二题，他说除了有大量纤维能帮助消化外，这种水果还富含不可或缺的维生素及矿物质那除了有大量纤维能帮助消化那这个地方我们可以说这个 in addition to 除了它的 high fiber content 就是它高纤维的含量叫做 high fiber content。那接下来这个是用来这个东西可以帮助消化，所以我可以说 in addition to its high fiber content, which aids in digestion 就是它可以帮忙消化。那各位注意到那个in aids in 就在哪一方面哪件事情上面有帮助，那我们就讲说 which aids in digestion 就是它在消化上会有帮助的。那这一点除了这一点之外呢 the fruit 就是指这个水果 jackfruit is also它也怎么样富含当然有很多种说法，那我这里想到的是我们可以说is also packed with packed with 就装得满满的装得饱饱的那种感觉，也就是富含的意思。好，那富含什么呢？这个不可或缺我这里用的字是 essential 然后呢维他命 vitamins， 然后呢还有矿物质 minerals
Right. And I like the packed with. It's something that you can use if you're advertising, because packed with is really strong. It sounds like it's just bursting at the seams, like the nutrition is bursting out of the fruit. There's so much of it.
所以这个 is packed with 感觉起来是多很多，就装得满满的要爆出来那种感觉的啊，所以可以用来当广告用词。
Right. Okay, here's my translation. In addition to its high fiber content, which aids in digestion, the fruit is rich in essential vitamins and minerals. Now, mine is a little bit closer to the Chinese, a little more ordinary. To be rich in, that's a very common way of saying it. It's not quite as strong as packed with.
好，那其实某个东西里面富含某一种营养成分啊，最常见的我觉得好像就是 rich in 啊，那 is rich in。那它的语气没有像 is packed with 那么强啊，它 is rich in 感觉起来就是很平静啊。
A little more neutral. Packed with is a little more emotional.
这个比较 neutral 一点。那这个 is packed with 比较有一点这个感觉不得了啊！你看这么多啊！
Right.
那 to be rich in 就是好像科学家一样，就是很平的冷冷说啊，这个富含什么什么。
Right. Okay, and here's the translation in our magazine. In addition to great amounts of fiber, which can aid in digestion, the fruit is also rich in essential vitamins and minerals.
No, I have a question. Can we say, in addition to a great amount of fiber?
You can, but because every fruit is different, like some are large and some are small, I guess you can say 比例的话应该会差不多, but it just is hard to imagine that the amount is about the same for every fruit. I prefer great amounts of, that means depending on the size of the fruit or whatever, it may differ.
所以这个地方呢，这个我相信很多人会想说，我这里我可不可以讲a great amount of， 因为大家小时候都背过这个拼 a great amount of， 那用在这里也可以，但是呢，事实上你要想这个每一个即使同样的水果，每一颗其实它的量都不一样。
Right.
Yeah.
I used the singular, but I didn't say a great amount of. I said in addition to its high fiber content. So it here means jackfruit in general, not one specific one. And jackfruit in general, used as a singular, has a high fiber content, but I don't use a. A makes it sound a little bit too individuated.
好，所以感觉起来好像太个别化了
Right.
啊。那我们杂志上的地方讲 great amounts of fiber， 那它这种复数，那感觉起来就是因为你有不同的这个水果嘛那即使就像我刚刚讲，即使同样是水果，同一种水果，它每一颗它的量可能也不太一样，所以这地方会用 great amounts of 那用复数。
But personally, I prefer Wesley's and my translations. Due to its high fiber content, I think that's more common in English.
好，那个一开始先交代清楚，由于什么什么那这个大量的纤维，那同样的这个帮助消化，各位可以注意到，我们都是用 aid in digestion.
Right. And Wesley said digestion the first time. That is more British. We also say it in American, but digestion is more common in British. Digestion is more common in American.
好，那个 essential 我们也都是用选的这个，因为不可或缺大概我们想到最直接的就是 essential 就对吧，不能省的，不能少的。
Right. And it's just like essential oils, which is 精油. It's not really so much 不可或缺. In that case, we could say indispensable. But in English, that would not work here. That would sound really odd. So essential vitamins and minerals, that means that they are necessary to maintain life.
所以这个地方你用 indispensable 有一点怪怪的不好呀。这个地方其实主要是搭配的问题就是放在这 context indispensable 不是一个很好的用词，你还是要用 essential 比较好一点。
And you know, we're done. That's it. That's all for today. Tune in next